Hello and welcome to my review of Ghost in the Shell. Now, Ghost in the Shell is an anime film, and basically it's set in the year 2029, and the computers and digital world has become digital network. Has become so advanced that everyone and everything is pretty much connected together. And it follows a team of people working to fight crime going on in this sort of interconnected digital world. And in this film, it's about them trying to stop a hacker called the Puppet Master. Excuse me a moment. Yeah, sorry. So that's pretty much the plot summary, and now, as I do, I will get straight into the review. Ghost in the Shell is really good. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I was a bit skeptical as to whether I was going to enjoy it from the start, because it seemed... I'll get into the negatives after the positives, of course, but let's just get straight to the positives. Ghost in the Shell is a very visually impressive film. The animation's really good. I have the Ghost in the Shell 2.0 Blu-ray release. Basically, when you watch the 2.0 version, it replaces some of the original animation for the film and replaces it with 3D CGI effects. And I guess that's kind of a negative, but anyway, as far as the actual animation goes and what they kept the same, that was all really good. Now, because of the story and what the story consists of with this sort of massive interconnected digital world you've got going on, it does bear some similarities to Tron. And if you've seen the Tron review, one of my issues I had with Tron was that for what Tron was trying to do in the digital world in that film, it didn't seem feasible enough. I think what they were trying to do was a little bit too far-fetched for it to all take place in a computer, because Tron's world is in a computer. What Ghost in the Shell does is it takes this digital world and has it encompass everything, computers and the internet. And I think, even though Tron was made 11 years before Ghost in the Shell came out, I think as though had Tron gone a route that was a lot more open, I think that would have made it better. Which is why I think, as far as the story aspect goes, as far as the similarities with Tron goes, I think Ghost in the Shell excels at portraying this cyber world. And the story is a really good one as well. It's one of these stories that kind of makes you think as to whether or not an AI has the capacity to become a self-aware being, whether it has, and whether or not, if it can, whether you should treat it as a person or not. It does go for that kind of route, which is interesting because some films try and tackle it, like I, Robot, for example, and I'm not saying I, Robot is bad, but I feel as though that as far as with stories like that go, and of the films I've seen with stories like that, I think Ghost in the Shell has done it the best so far. There's some things about the film that aren't necessarily bad, as far as I'm concerned, but I know that some people may sort of not be too happy with it. For example, the reason that I mentioned earlier as to why I was a little bit skeptical as to whether I'd enjoy it is there is nudity in it, and whereas the nudity you probably would have done without and seemed unnecessary, for me it wasn't a huge big deal. I mean, I wasn't freaking out or anything of it objectifying women or anything like that, because A, I'm not really like that, and B, the main character is a female. So, but I know that something like the nudity in it might put some people off. It wasn't a big deal for me, and that's why I'm not counting it as a negative. The score was good, but this is the first time where the score or the song playing on the menu of the actual Blu-ray I actually thought was better than the main theme that was used in the film. And I'm not saying that the main theme that they used in the film was bad, but I wasn't head over heels for it or anything. And yeah, as far as negatives go, there really aren't many with Ghost in the Shell. It's pretty short, it's only 80 minutes long, and I think because of that, the film seemed slightly underwhelming for me, because I didn't really know that much about it. I knew it was a big deal. I know that films like The Matrix had been inspired by it, and so I figured, oh, okay, there's probably something really groundbreaking, and I'm sure when it came out it was, but I think the fact that it was quite brief as far as film goes, I think that could have brought it down for me. Not as in quality, but overall sort of expectation. My expectations were sort of not met, I guess, at the end. But anyway, there's no real negatives I have with it, really. So, some really good animation. I would probably watch the original. If you get the 2.0 Blu-ray release, it does come with the original animation, and I would recommend you watch that over the CG version. Although not all the CG in is bad. Some of it's actually really good, but I would still go with the actual sort of original anime film that it was. I like the story. The story was really well executed. Better. No, okay, I've already mentioned it. I thought that the cyber world was better represented in this than it was in Tron, because it's kind of similar. One thing I haven't mentioned, the characters. The characters are cool. They're not really given that much time for them to develop, but as they work and as they progress through the film, you do get a definite sense of what each character is like, whether they're headstrong, whether they're sort of a bit sort of corrupt or something, maybe something like that. And they're the positives. I feel as though the score maybe could have been changed up, especially for a re-release. And yeah, there's some other things in it maybe that it's down to personal opinion on some of the things, like the nudity, some of the violence maybe some people might not like, but I was okay with all that. So all that combined, but also combining the fact that I was a little bit underwhelmed by it, I'm going to give Ghost in the Shell 4 out of 5 stars. Now, I already know that Ghost in the Shell has a pretty big expanded universe. I'm pretty sure there's a sequel. I know there's an anime series that goes with it. It's based off a manga, so as far as do I want to see a sequel for it to go, as far as would I want to see a sequel be... Wait, I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. Do I want to see a sequel? If there is one, yes, I'd watch it. Would I watch anything else related to it? Yeah, I probably would. It's actually really enjoyable. So anyway, thank you for watching my review. I hope you enjoyed it, hope you found it informative, and thank you for watching.